Okay, and here we are at the bottom of page 5. We're in section 2.4, page 5, the bottom of the page, 5b. And let's read this application exercise. 84 says, suppose that the local sales tax rate is 7% and you buy a graphing calculator for $96. Two-part question here. Part A, they want to know how much tax is due, and then what is the calculator's total cost. So here's an example where you have to bring some prior knowledge to the situation, and that is a little bit about taxes, specifically sales tax. So let's take a deep breath, read it through again, identify some key parts and what our goal is, and then start to put things together. Okay. Suppose that the local sales tax rate is 7%. You buy a graphing calculator for $96. How much tax is due? And then what is the calculator's total cost? So there's two answers that I need. For part A, I need the tax amount. So there's some amount of dollars that I'm going to pay, that's the tax. And part B, I'm going to need the total cost. And here's where you get to bring a little bit of information to the problem itself. Total cost means it's going to be the tax plus the calculator price. Okay. And then in terms of finding out A, how much tax is due, because they give us a tax rate of 7%, we're going to need to use our percent formula for part A. Okay, where we've got part over the total is equal to a percent value over 100. Or if you do it the book way, A equals P times B. So in this case, part A, we're going to have to bring to the problem what we know about tax in terms of percent. So the sales tax, here, we'll just call it tax, is 7% of the cost of the calculator. Okay, so it's 7% of the cost. Now, when we translate it that way, 7% of the calculator, the tax is, then we can come up with what pieces go where. The very first thing we look for is the percent. The second thing we look for is the word of, because right after the word of is our total amount. And then we look for the third piece, and that represents the part. The leftover piece of the statement goes in the part position of this formula. So let's look for our percent sign or the word percent. In this case, they tell us 7%. So we know that 7 goes over the 100. Next we look for the word of, and there it is. And of, right after of, is the cost of the calculator. In this case, the cost they give us is $96. And that is our total. After the of comes the value that goes in our total spot. So 96 goes right here. And then what we're left with, how much tax is due, well, the tax is 7% of the total cost. We have the 7, we have the 96 for the total. We don't know the tax. So the tax, you could put T for tax. In fact, let's do that. I always land on X, and I always say, hey, you can use whatever you want. So I guess I'll follow my own advice. T for tax. So now I go ahead and solve that. 100 times T equals 96 times 7, using cross multiplication because I have one fraction times one fraction. 96 times 7 is going to be 672. Divide both sides by 100, and T is going to be 6.72. So my answer for my tax is I'm spending $6.72 for tax. Part B, the total cost is going to be the tax plus the calculator price. So in this case, it's going to be my $6.72 plus the original $96 for the calculator, and that's going to be $102.72. Okay, so a little chance to bring some, hopefully what is common knowledge to the problem, and then utilizing your percent practice. So in the Practice Plus, you'll get some formula moving around, and in the application exercises, you'll get some practice with your percent formula. And of course, there'll be review and preview exercises to wrap things up. All right, that's 2.4. We'll see you in 2.5. You're doing a great job.